This tutorial will share an overview of variations and versions in GradeCam. Select an existing assignment that you want to create variations or versions. Select the Keys tab. To the left below the Scan window, you will see the options to create a mapped variation and new independent versions. It is important to note the differences between variations and versions and understand the purpose of each. Variations allow for reordering of questions while still keeping the ability to map the questions so that item-specific data can be reviewed. You cannot adjust the answers between variations. Variations are good for developing reorganized assessments per class or for specific students. Versions can be created new or cloned from the primary, but they must match the same number of questions. In versions, the question types and answers can be different, but you will not be able to view multiple versions together when looking at that item-specific report, such as the item analysis or the student-by-question reports. Versions can be created if you need assessment accommodations for specific learners. You can have up to 9 using any combination of variations and versions. For example, you can have 6 variations and 3 different versions, which total to 9 overall. All versions and variations must have the same number of questions. For more information on creating variations or versions for an assignment, please see the more detailed tutorials for each. The following is an example of when to create a variation. For the assignment, a variation was created with reordered questions so that we still have the ability to see the item-specific data all together. The test used the same questions with the same answers, but the questions are in a different order. Students will be assigned the different reordered tests, but the results can be displayed together when reviewing the item analysis report. Variations help to create varied assessments while still having the ability to view student responses and results for the mapped questions. This example shows when you may want to create a version. For this assignment, a version will be created so that different types of questions and answers can be used. By creating a version of the original, you still view the overall data together, such as on a score graph report. In this example, the assignment was created with some accommodations, such as changing the first question on the test to a multiple choice in order to assess whether the student can follow the information that is shared in the story problem and find the correct equation to use. In this question, alternate instructions were given for the student to verbally explain their process for solving the problem. The question could stay as an open response question, but there are alternate instructions contained in the header, including additional resource information. Or this question could be changed to a rubric question that is then scored by the teacher or the support personnel based on the student's explanation. Creating a version allows you to adjust the assignment using different question types and answers, while still keeping class results together so that the overall data of the assessment can be viewed for the class. If standards are linked to the questions, you can also view the class by standards report together for all versions and variations. Once student responses have been collected, the teacher can view the overall data for the class or use the filters to view the data for the different versions or variations. As a reminder, using variations will allow you to review that question-specific data together, for example, on the item analysis or the student-by-question reports. If you have versions, you will need to adjust the filters to see the data for the different versions. The score graph and the class by standards reports can show you overall class results displaying the versions and variations together. Lastly, remember that you can create up to 9 using any combination of variations and versions. This concludes the overview about variations and versions in GradeCam. For more information on either the variations or versions, please see the specific video for that topic.